So according to both management teams of Rolando Romero and Devin Haney, a fight between the two is very close to being made. On Twitter, Bill Haney said that signed, sealed and delivered on his end. And Rolando Romero has also said that, he's already agreed everything on his end. So I'm assuming a fight's not far from being made. Of course, both guys are world champions at welterweight, 147 pounds. Of course, Rolando Romero's coming off probably the best win of his career in Ryan Garcia, but again, was probably the worst performance of Ryan Garcia's career, where he looked slow, flat, and even got dropped by Rolly Romero. No shade to Rolly Romero, though, because he's gone and won himself a world championship at welterweight. And then, of course, you've got Devin Haney, who's, undefeated, three-weight world champion, was undisputed at 135, which is crazy. A really impressive achievement, in my opinion, especially when you see the guys he had to beat. And, of course, became world champion at 140 and now beat Brian Norman in, again, another really impressive win against Brian Norman and took Brian Norman's WBO welterweight championship. So Devin Haney, in my opinion, is one of the best boxers in the world, and pound for pound, one of the guys who's able to basically do whatever they need to do to win in the ring. In terms of defensively, he's always defensively responsible and on point. He's a tactician in there. He's a ring general who moves about well. He doesn't get hit. And that's ultimately why he'll be in boxing for a long time. Devin Haney does not get hit. He does not take tons of damage. Honestly, probably only a handful of fights where you can say this guy's even been tagged a bit. And granted, he got dropped a couple of times against Ryan Garcia. He got dropped, I think, 3 times against Ryan Garcia. But watch that fight back and you'll see a guy who boxed very well. In my opinion, Devin Haney boxed very well, but was just getting caught with the left hook. And I know some people will say, well, you couldn't have been boxing that good if you're getting caught with the left hook. I know, but you've got to look at it as a whole boxing performance, not just, oh, he's getting hit with the left hook and he's getting dropped, he sucks. Boxing's a lot more nuanced than that. And Devin Haney's a great boxer. In my opinion, he's a great boxer. Rolly Romero, in my opinion, not such a great boxer. Look at his resume, he's got no real impressive wins. The only guys you really know on his resume are the guys we lost to in Pitbull, Cruz and Tank. And even though he had a bit of success against Tank, he was ultimately brutally knocked out and took a lot of shots from Pitbull as well. And then other than that, on his resume, he's not really got any other good wins other than a really, really bad Ryan Garcia at welterweight, where that was, like I said before, the probably worst performance of Ryan Garcia's career. Looked slow, looked, out of shape, didn't have the get up and go to go out there and win the fight, and Rolly Romero just basically walked through him. Now, didn't even need to put a huge beat down on Ryan Garcia because Ryan Garcia wasn't doing anything. He didn't, Rolly Romero didn't have to really push the pace and throw loads of shots because he didn't need to. Do you know what I mean? He's winning rounds without needing to do that. So why overexert yourself? Now, again, that's the only good win on Rolly Romero's resume. It is what it is. You can only beat what's in front of you. Well, and he hasn't always beat what's in front of him because the guys, in my opinion, who are world level, the Tanks and the Pitbulls, who in my opinion are definitely world level fighters, they beat him. And he got stopped by one of them and, beat down by Pitbull. Now, Devin Haney is a far better boxer than both of those guys. Devin Haney has a far higher boxing IQ than Pitbull. Tank's game is a bit different. Tank's smaller. Tank hasn't got the physical advantages of a Devin Haney, particularly at lightweight, where Devin Haney was huge at lightweight. Huge. Right? And Tank has to rely on being a good counterpuncher and landing huge knockout shots. That's what Tank has to rely on. And it works for him. I can't sit here and say it didn't work. It hasn't worked for him. He's a multi-time world champion, one of the biggest stars in the sport. But Devin Haney relies on outboxing guys and using his physical advantages to win rounds. Defensively as well, without taking tons of damage. I've got mad respect for that. Needless to say, if this fight was to happen, I think it would be a really easy night for Devin Haney. I think Rolly Romero is a guy who physically can match up with Devin Haney. And honestly, we saw that when a guy like Ryan Garcia, who was physically able to match up with Devin Haney, gave him problems. Rolly Romero, in my opinion, will be able to physically match up with Devin Haney. But again, he's going to need to land. And he's going to need to land enough to win rounds. I don't think he's got the one-punch knockout power to put a Devin Haney to sleep. We've seen Devin Haney get dropped and get back up and still go on to box really well throughout those fights. So, do you know what I mean? Unless you're going to put him out cold, which I don't think Rolly Romero's either capable of, and also Devin Haney doesn't really put himself in positions to get knocked out cold like that. You know, if you're getting knocked out cold, typically, not always, but typically it can mean that there's like a real defensive flaw. There's a real big opening there and a guy takes advantage of it. I don't think that's quite the case for Devin Haney. But he's a great boxer, undefeated, 3-weight world champion. And I think if he fights Rolly Romero, it's going to be a relatively easy night for Devin Haney. And Rolly Romero's, looking at the other champions at welterweight, the only one that I would really bet on giving him a bit of trouble, other than, you know, you got Ryan Garcia there, so that's a huge rematch if that fight gets made. But it looks like in the meantime, they want to do Devin Haney v. Rolly, and then Devin Haney claims another world championship. He will claim another world title against Rolly, in my opinion. I think Devin Haney wins that comfortably, in my opinion. But super curious to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this fight will get made? And if it does get made, who do you think is going to win it? Devin Haney or Rolly Romero? Let me know in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.